using the technique which we learned in the previous movie, let's take a look at how we can improve a small detail area of the eye. Now, you may remember this portrait from one of our earlier chapters where we looked at how we could clean up some of the distracting elements in the background. So this image is a work in progress, and the next thing that I want to do is focus in on the eyes. If we zoom in really close, you can see with the right eye in particular, there's something here in the eye that I want to retouch away. And when you have a problem, often the first place you look is say, is there anything else that's good that I could use? We could use part of the left eye over here. That would work really well. Here's how we can do that. You go to the background layer. We use a selection tool like the lasso tool and just make a really rough selection. It doesn't really need to be that exact, but often what you want to do is select a little bit more than you need. Then press Command-J on a Mac or Control-J on Windows to copy what you've selected up to a new layer. So essentially what we have on this layer is this part of the eye right there by itself. Now it's in the wrong spot, so we'll bring it over to this area. And what we're going to need to do is zoom in and figure out, well, where exactly do I need this to be? And you want to get it close, and we'll have to go through a couple of steps in order to get it just right. Here's how this will work. You click on the Add Layer Mask icon, just like we've done before, right? Go to the tab for your mask and click Invert. Then once you've done that, you grab your brush tool. We'll paint with white. Here we need a really small brush, so I'm going to go ahead and tap the left bracket key to make this even smaller. And I'm just going to paint with white along this edge of the eye right here, right where I need to have this good area brought in. Now, when I do that, what I'm seeing is that what's being brought in isn't in the right spot. My mask is in the right spot, but the eye isn't. So click on the link icon between these two, click into the layer where you have the eye, and with the Move tool, you can move that around. You can see how I can kind of move that around in that area right there. And what I'm going to do is try to move this around until I get it in a good spot. I'm using the arrow keys to do that. And I want to turn on the before and after view, the eye icon. So I'm looking at the before and after view there. And one of the things I'm noticing is while I can get it close to the right spot, the shape of the eye isn't quite right. So I need to free transform that. Go to Edit and Free Transform. And with Free Transform, if you hold down the Command key on a Mac, Control key on Windows, and click on your corner points, you can change the shape. So I'm changing the shape by clicking on my corner points. And that makes sense, right? Because it's a different part of the eye. It needs to adapt to the area where we are right here. And then I'll press Enter and return. Next, look at that before and after and make sure that it's going in the right direction and it's in the right spot. And then last but not least, go back to the mask and with my brush tool, paint away anything that is extraneous that I do not need. Really, all I need is a nice, strong edge along that part of the eye. So you can see how we've improved that area there. I'm going to make one more free transform because it looks like the top of the eye wasn't just perfect. So you want to get this right because it's an important part of the image. Now let's say that we decide there's a little problem over here on this eye as well. How can we fix that? Do the same thing. Let's go through these steps one more time. Lasso tool, make a selection. Next, Command-J on a Mac, Control-J on Windows. We'll name this one I-2. Then use the Move tool. Reposition this. If it's in the wrong spot, you can go to Edit and Free Transform. Right-click or Control-click on the Free Transform area and choose Flip Horizontal. Now we're getting it to that right spot. And then press Enter or Return. Next, create our layer mask, which we will fill with black by going to the tab for masks. And the first thing we'll do is we'll paint with white here, and we'll just bring in along the edge where we think this will help. Then we unlink these two, click on to the image area or image layer, and then nudge it around either with our Move tool or with our arrow keys. And what we're looking to do is just cover up that little problem that we have there. And I'm going to try to find just the right spot for that. After we get it in just the right spot, if we need to free transform it, we go to Edit and Free Transform. That sometimes helps to be able to change the shape of whatever it is that we're bringing over. And then, of course, last but not least, work on the mask. If there's a little problem on the mask, well, mask it away. If all you need is just that little teeny edge over there, well, just bring in that little edge and then hide everything else. You don't need all the other stuff. We're just looking to strengthen that part of the image. Now, this is obviously more advanced, but it can really help when you have some problem areas of the image. In this case, with these eyes, I don't know if you can see it because it's so small, but what it's doing for me is it's just adding a lot to the portrait. It's making those eyes look a lot stronger. Now, there are other things that you may want to clean up with the eyes, not just this area, but there's other areas too. But at least for this technique, you can see how making a selection, putting that on a new layer, and then using a mask to get it into the right spots can really help out, like it is done here with this portrait.